I'm going to tell you a little secret. A lot of things that you think aren't possible because we're in this little West Texas town of El Paso are absolutely possible. I didn't grow up wealthy. I grew up with a lot of love. My father was a bracero. He was a migrant worker. I am not supposed to be sitting here. I am not supposed to have a PhD because everything was against me to get there. But organizations like the YWCA existed. And I have an obligation to make sure that as many children and families have the same opportunities that I have had.
Now, Sylvia's only been back and running the YWCA for not quite 3 years. She has accomplished a huge amount in 3 years.
When I got here, things were calm, and then the refugee crisis started. We then worked on trying to provide relief to refugees to our country. And then right after that, we had this mass shooting. So when the shooting occurred,
Sylvia and I were with some other El Pasoans at a Unidos conference in San Diego on August the 3rd.
And somebody came and whispered in my ear that there had just been a shooting in El Paso and that it was racially motivated. And so we, at that moment, the YWCA swept into action and figured, what is it that we can do to really impact the community?
Today, I call on members of Congress to unequivocally denounce hate speech.
And what she talked about was, we're stronger than the hate. And the mission of the YWCA is about that. Like, we have, as a country, as an agency, as a city, we've dealt with a lot of hatred.
And then right after the shooting, we had the pandemic come in. And it was like, I feel like I was called to be home. We were funded with the PPP, which means we were able to rehire all of our staff. But there's no after school programs going on right now. So one of the things that we noted was that incidences of child abuse had increased nationwide, and children were no longer, there were no longer teachers really that could see them and report child abuse. So the reports were down, but the incidences were up. And so since we had staff, I said, we are going to mobilize and we are going to set up a respite program. I'm super proud of that program because I have had home health nurses that were taking their children to appointments because they didn't have anywhere to leave them. They were single moms. We had a construction worker that was taking his children to the construction site, and they were doing their homework in the car in 100-degree weather. And now they have a safe place to be.
But Sylvia has done that over and over and over again. She leads with her head and her heart both, and she meets hatred or desperation with love and strategic thinking to fully fulfill the mission that we want to achieve at the YWCA.
The way that we treat the poorest in our community is how we will be judged in our lives. And so I think realizing that and understanding that that should be the measure of how you are behaving or how you rate as a human being or as a nation is how are you treating the most vulnerable in your community in a time of crisis. And in El Paso, we're treating them with kindness.